Well, hello then, Mr. Cordes,
Hey,
is it right?
yes,
Great to meet
yes,
you.
that's right. Nice, thank you. Yeah, thank you so much for this. It's been a while since I did an interview.
Right, I can imagine. It's no small secret that I've never conducted an interview before, so hopefully it won't be a train
Oh,
wreck. Yeah.
okay. What an honor. What a great honor.
The
Ooh,
honor is mine, I assure you. So,
okay,
regardless,
great.
I'll give you a second if you'd like to introduce yourself. I know that you're a terribly busy person, so we can conduct things at your pace.
Okie dokie. So let's go through the motions then and do it proper if you're recording.
Certainly.
So yeah, hi, my name is Agustin Gordes. I'm the founder of Senscape. It's been a while since I've been in the industry. Well, I got started with scratches a long time ago. Um, I love horror, as you can imagine, a lot. I grew up reading Lovecraft, of course, and reading a lot of science fiction as well, watching tons and tons of horror movies. One of my earliest memories in my teenage years was going to the video store and basically rent whatever weird film with a most terrifying cover you could imagine. My mom wouldn't pay attention, so that's how I got acquainted with Dario Argento, Lucio Fulci, Sam Raimi, Evil Dead, and some of my favorite movies. And well, these days I am working on Asylum, of course, with a very dedicated team. In fact, today, the moment I'm giving this interview, as soon as I hang up, I'm going to distribute the beta to the VIP Kickstarter backers. So to gather feedback, it looks like we are finally getting the game done. And yeah, other than that, I'm wrapping up another big project we did with Senscape, Silent Hill Ascension. We did the cinematics, and I was directing them. So it's
No
been an
way.
amazing experience. Yes way.
I
That's
had I had no idea that you were working with Silent Hill Ascension. I'm relatively new to the Silent Hill games. I just played my first one in like the past 4 months, but I'm very intrigued to continue the series and heard a lot about Ascension as it was coming out.
Yeah, well, I'm a huge fan of the series. By the time I was done with scratches, I think I played Silent Hill 2. Then I got, of course, then I'm the one, the third, and it's been quite a honor for me to work in the series. It's not a game per se, but I'm really enjoying seeing how people got really hooked up on it, and they are eagerly awaiting its conclusion, which
Right.
is in 1 month from now. So yes, tense moments.
All the same, director of cinematics, that's what you said you did for Ascension?
Yeah. So Senscape worked on the characters, based on metahumans, all in Unreal, and I was directing the cinematics. The Senscape team worked on them, and it's been a huge challenge because it's a lot of content within a constrained time frame. I'm very happy with the result. I think everyone did a superb job, and well, most importantly, people are really intrigued following the series, and looking forward to its exciting conclusion. So yes, beginning May, I'm going to be more. I will have more free time, and my plan is to join the QA of Asylum and give it, a polishing pass myself before
Excellent.
it's done.
That all
Yep,
sounds
yep, yep.
very good. I'm all the more intrigued to go back and revisit Silent Hill Ascension, the bits and pieces of it that I saw.
Please do that. Do that. And the cool thing is, there's going to be a what if. So
Ooh.
everyone will be able to see. As you may know, people are deciding on the outcome as the series makes progress. They are bidding on the outcome of many choices, kind of like a
Right.
telltale game.
Yes.
Like a community-driven telltale game. And some of the choices that didn't air are really, really interesting. So yes, it was a fantastic project. I'm very glad that Senscape was part of it.
Very cool. Uh,
Okay.
well, all the same then, if you are ready, I'd be happy to go ahead and get into my first question regarding scratches.
Please, yes, go ahead.
Okay, so the first thing that I have on the docket is that with the director's cut of the game, which you released in 2007, I believe,
Mhm.
Scratches is a game that has a vanilla ending, an epilogue ending, and an alternative secret ending that you also included in the director's cut. And I was
Yeah.
curious, as the creator, do you have an ending that you personally consider to be canon or at least hold as your favorite?
Oh, yeah. I mean, here's the thing about the director's cut. Um, fans wanted more, and the publisher wanted more, and that's mostly why we did it.
Mm.
Truth to be told, there were features that I wanted to incorporate in the original game that we didn't have time enough. So that's part of the reason why I wanted to do the director's cut on my end. For example, the Michael's journal and some additions to the game. Mostly, here's the thing about the ending. My original ending, the original ending was very, very different than what you saw, even in the director's cut. It was more like a typical good versus evil confrontation, and that's it. You know, a very closed ending. And I thought that something was missing. And you know, ultimately, what I wanted with Scratches is to emulate, in a way, the feel of playing a Lovecraft story. And one of the things that you experience in a Lovecraft story is that once you witness the horror, the true horror, the story ends. And that's basically how the original game worked. Well, the original ending worked. Once you see the final horror and the answer to the most relevant questions, that's it. There's nothing else. I don't think, I mean, it didn't need a coda or anything like that. It just needed to end, and that's it. That's why Michael does what he does, and the game ends. And some people didn't like that. Some people thought that it was like a too sudden to, you know, like nothing was wrapped up. In truth, the game was designed to be wrapped up with that final revelation. Like once you get that final piece, that's it. You don't need anything else. You witness the horror, experience that final revelation, and there's nothing else for you. But okay, yeah, that's where the director's cut comes in. People wanted that coda, and I thought, well, why not? The Last Visit is an interesting experiment. I think it's even too goofy at some moments. It
I would
does
agree with that,
yeah,
personally, in
it
my opinion.
it is very goofy. The puzzles didn't. I mean, it's kind of like an afterthought, to be fair. But the thing that I liked a lot was the opportunity to revisit Blackwood Manor under a different, perspective, all vandalized. And I remember fans who felt like really sad to experience that themselves, like it felt like they spend so much time in Blackwood Manor, like feeling attached to the house, that seeing it in such a sorry state, it made them feel genuinely sad. That's what I rescue, from the Last Visit.
That's
Other than that, yeah, that's
on the note of fans being upset by the sorry state of the Blackwood Manor at the end of the game. That's something that I really began to notice, especially in the making of my second video. In my first video, I make a point of saying that apart from phone contacts, there are no characters in this game. It is just you and your new home. In
true.
saying that, I realize now that the home is a character in and of itself, and the last visit really shows you a sad end for that character.
Definitely, and I'm happy to hear that, because in many ways, you could say that the environment in a Lovecraft story kind of becomes the character sometimes, such as in the Whisperer in Darkness, for example, the whole forest, with its mysteries, became like a distinct entity, like felt kind of exactly like a character in the story. So that's what Blackwood Manor is supposed to be. In fact, I always felt that the house itself was the antagonist. there's no clear antagonist until, as you realized, very late in the story when you find the mask and all of that. But at the beginning, for the most part, the house is your antagonist. The mysteries it conceals.
And it's quite a time unwrapping all of those mysteries in the game. I definitely see the house having that antagonistic grip on the player.
Yeah.
Just to wrap up this question, I do have to ask: was there an intention in adding the alternate secret ending where Michael clicks on the typewriter enough times that he finds
Oh
a
yeah.
different
Okay.
conclusion?
About that. Really, it was kind of a playful thing to do on my end. I thought, especially after reading all the theories, all the all the what ifs, the interesting possibilities that the story provided, and I realized, you know what? The way we dropped all the hints, if we changed a couple of things in the story, it all makes sense. Like it still works. So that's the alternate ending, basically. It's, you know what? If we change this fact, the whole thing still makes sense and you get a completely different story. And it also plays a bit on the duality, like of the main plot. Like you can never tell if it's, if the curse is real or not, if Blackwood is imagining, and Michael, right, if they are imagining things or not. And it was never my intention to resolve that, the whole science versus supernatural dilemma. Like that shouldn't be resolved. That's not my goal here. My goal was to provide the answers to the main mystery, but it's up to you how you piece the story together. Like the other plot points, such as the flower in the end. The flower. What does it mean? The flower is growing, but if you remember all the writings from Milton and Blackwood, that flower has a lot of significance. It could mean the curse was real. Then again, maybe not. And that's the trick.
Well, look at that then. You have actually tapped into one of my later questions that I was going to ask. And that was, and it's a little bit of a two-parter. What is the reason that you have this flower in the greenhouse, this greenhouse shot, as the final credits shot of the game?
Yeah, that
The exact reason
that
is the okay.
because the whole thing. I mean, and I guess it's something you see a lot in the world, and especially today. Like finding significance in things that may not be significant. Like
Oh, I totally understand what you
theories.
mean.
Yeah, exactly. Like, the flower is growing because the curse was lifted. Or maybe a flower is just growing because, Michael opened the door to the greenhouse and some oxygen flowed in, and that's why the flower is growing. You don't know.
I
You
see.
didn't- yeah, that was the whole idea behind that final shot. You can never tell. The
So
truth is elusive.
truth is elusive. I'm perfectly happy with that answer. Just the one
Yeah.
thing about the flower thing that I found especially intriguing is that the alternative ending actually does not have the shot of the greenhouse with the flower. It goes to an alternate batch of credits with a different song entirely.
Oh, look at that. I forgot about that. Ah,
That's
yeah.
it's perfectly fine if it was like you said, just a coincidence if I'm reading too far into it.
It's the way you interpret the story, and ultimately, it's if it's valid for you, then why not, right? That's what I feel when I read, like a good book.
Hmm.
It,
It's in the eye
it
of the beholder.
sometimes exactly. I like something that Christopher Priest, one of my favorite writers, said once, that the book doesn't exist really until someone reads it and brings something from you, from your imagination, the way you interpret the story. So you are giving that significance in a way. I didn't have anything in mind for the flower, other than bringing that sense of duality in the end. What is the truth? You can never tell. It's elusive. So maybe your truth is valid. Why not?
Hmm.
Right?
Okay.
But as for why the flower is not in the alternate ending, I don't remember. I do remember that. Yeah, sorry,
No, it's
that's
a
a
perfectly
worst
valid
possible
answer.
climate.
I
Yeah.
should specify, since we haven't said it yet, that Scratch has just turned 18, so it has been a long time since you have worked on this project.
Yeah. I could have, I mean, maybe I don't know, maybe one of these days I find some notes somewhere. I have a project I would like to wrap up someday, which is, the scratches files, like all the notes over many years and fan theories, stuff that I have in emails from a long time ago. Maybe I will collect all that information and just put it out there. But off the top of my head, no. I do recall that the song that we used in the alternate ending, it's a song that it wasn't used in the main game, and I really liked it, and that's why I included that.
Yeah.
That's the real reason of that song. The flower, I don't know. Maybe you're right.
Well,
You could be right.
that is very
You could be
interesting.
right, really.
Well, in that case, I think I'll try to knock out the other two very quick questions that you may again have no answer for. They're just little things that after several playthroughs, I was still very curious about because the game and the internet didn't even have satisfactory answers to them. And the first one, which I'm sure you noticed I was making a point of in the video that I made, is there a reason why Blackwood Manor is full of candle holders but has no candles?
Well, I mean, of course, the reason is that it was the first puzzle you have to solve. So if you find I mean, Michael can't find any candles. So yeah, that's honestly puzzle wise. The first day, I don't think it was well executed. And back in the day, I remember people were frustrated that there was kind of like hand holding, like the game was forcing you to do this way and that way, even though it's fairly non-linear, the exploration, you still have to do things in a specific order. So what I needed people to do is make sure they go to the attic, make sure they go to the dining room and the studio and etc., etc. And the candle puzzle was designed for that, to have you explore the house and, find stuff you are supposed to find in the first day.
Hmm,
The
that's
second day, I think it's more better designed in that regard, in a way that I drop the breadcrumbs and then I let you, resolve the story. Like, oh, there's something in the gallery, or oh, there's a hidden room. How do I get there? Well, to some fans, from the adventure genre, back then they found it that it was more interesting. But yeah, anyway, that's the reason. That's the real reason.
That's interesting that you criticize your design of the first day in the game because I actually feel that it has aged quite well and that it kind of gives you prompts like first you got to go find a place to put down your luggage and then you got to find a way to, deal with there being no light in the house. So it still keeps you like on a practical and logical track of what the player is expected to do and like you said, it encourages the player to explore the house. I just thought it was
Yeah.
incredibly interesting that so many of the rooms in the game, just about every room, had a candle holder in it, but none of them had a candle.
The reason is the puzzle. And look, maybe I'm thinking in terms of a hardcore adventure gamer. But
Right.
Scratches was designed. Yeah, Scratches was a game that it it you know it was first devised in an adventure game forum, and I presented the teaser to adventure game fans. It was designed for a niche audience. For some reason, that still like escapes me. A lot of people play the game and really enjoyed it. So I'm basing my feedback on what a hardcore adventure player would say, and they say the first day sucks, the second day is so much better.
Well,
Anyway, yeah.
okay then. I suppose it is perfectly important then that I should disclose that I am not a hardcore adventure gamer, and if you watched my video, then I'm certain you've recognized this because I was completely dumbfounded with the key sticking out of the door puzzle. That for some reason I had never seen that trope or that puzzle before, and the entire comment section was just blasting me like this is a staple of adventure games. How can you say that you've played a lot of mystery games and blah blah blah? And
That's perfectly fine. No,
it
I
was
mean, nothing, there's nothing that makes me more happy than seeing so many people, enjoying the game, even though the target audience was different. So, wow, I'm honestly surprised. And No, yeah. I mean, what can I say? Yes, it it was that puzzle in particular. The newspaper puzzle was meant to be a joke and an inside joke, you could say, to fans of adventures.
Yeah, in hindsight, it is actually quite hilarious that the key still does not come through. And in my second video, I actually really critically revisited this puzzle. And if you'd like, I can share my thoughts with you on it, but I thought I'd first ask what my last very specific question is. Why is this door locked from the inside? Is it just for the sake
Um,
of creating the puzzle or for the joke?
yeah, that's pretty much it. Because I think the other door was stuck, I believe.
It is, yeah.
Oh, okay. That's okay. So at least it has some logic. I think, yeah, the whole idea, it was a joke. It was a joke. That's the whole reason that puzzle exists.
Gosh, I really
Yeah.
went to some crazy lengths to try to understand this in in my video.
Hey, look, I mean, I'm all for wild theories. And the other example, I don't know if you played Sirena, but it's another game you can tackle if you. It's much shorter than Scratches. And something into the same thing happened. Sirena was designed for a very niche audience. We didn't do any press, nothing at all. We launched it for free, and then next thing you know is 1 million downloads and people theorizing about the story. And the theories are so good that I was like, hey, I like that better than the actual story that I did.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's fantastic. It's something I enjoy a lot. I hope that happens with Asylum too, because it's like I get to play the game with the community. When all these theories pop up.
Well, with Asylum then being your third release in the line of your horror adventure endeavors, then I'm very excited to see it, as it sounds like the one you've definitely put the most time into.
Yes, I'm hoping that at least the whole puzzle design, that was frustrating in Scratches, it's in much better shape here. It's definitely not as hardcore, with so many obscure puzzles. Um, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see what the backers think about this upcoming beta we're about to distribute.
Alrighty then. So
Yeah.
those are the three like real dumb questions out of the way. Those are just things that I
Okay.
personally had to ask you because they were very very hanging at the back of my mind. So a more broad question then about scratches thematically as a whole is that I wanted to ask that as the game is presented to the player in like a very novelistic and slow format, are we to believe that the game itself is a book that Michael Arthate has written?
You could definitely interpret that way, and at the very least, what I intended to do is to make it feel like a book. In many ways, back to the answer to the first question, the way the ending is designed, it is designed like a Lovecraft story, and you could say that yes, the whole point was that through the events in Blackwood Manor, Michael became inspired, and the way the game flows reflects the the book. Yes, but it's the primary influence is Lovecraft in the verbosity of the feedback, the more poetic tone sometimes of the way Michael thinks about something. So yes, there's a lot of Lovecraft permeating through the whole story and development.
All right, that sounds like a great way to move into my Lovecraft questions then, because
Okay,
it
okay.
sounds like you and I both share an affinity for Lovecraft's writing. I'll be perfectly honest. I do not think I am as big of a fan of him as you are. I am a huge fan of Lovecraft, but I just have not had the time to sit down and read as much of his writing as I would like to. But from the bits and pieces that I have read, there's some specific stories that I feel I noticed flashes of in Scratches, and specifically, I was wondering if are you very familiar with his story, the Dunwich Horror?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I was thinking about it, like in hindsight, that I felt there was a lot of similarities between the character of Robin, who's the deformed child that is clearly growing or maturing at some strange
Okay.
way, and Wilbur Whateley from the Dunwich Horror. Was there any influence there, subconscious or otherwise?
I can tell you probably subconsciously. I can name you the prime influence in that regard. The Robin story, and again, you could say it's a chain of influences. Lovecraft was influenced by Poe and Lord Dunsany, and writers and movies have been influenced by Lovecraft, Hammer films. So in a way, it's all like like a tangle of influences. But you can trace the whole family plot of Scratches to House of the Long Shadows, which is not a Hammer film per se. It was released after the Hammer era. And I remember distinctly that I enjoyed the whole mystery in the house. And in fact, the whole premise of a writer going to a faraway house to finish a book, that trope is also used in that movie. So you could say it's one of the main influences.
I'm
There's, yeah.
I'm very happy to say that I have not actually heard of House of the Long Shadows, so I would very much like to go check that out now if it's anything at all
Go
like
ahead,
Scratches.
and you'll be surprised that it features Vincent Price, Christopher Lee, Peter Cushing, and David Carradine. All of them in yes, John Carradine. Sorry, John Carradine, the father. All at the same time. So yeah,
Right,
that's a
and
very huge. I mean, you're going to love it. If you like Hammer films, you're bound to enjoy that movie.
yeah, while we're on the topic, I'm gonna have to go a little off script and ask, do you have a favorite Hammer film?
Um, I think the Reptile is one of the ones I enjoy the most. And let me, yeah, possibly Horror of Dracula too. Which one else? Yes.
I actually do not know the reptiles, so that's another one I'm gonna have to go look into.
You don't know the Reptile?
No, I
Oh,
don't.
that's no, it's an amazing,
Curse of
it's
Frankenstein
fantastic.
is my all-time favorite when it comes to Hammer, and I know that that's their very first one.
It's one of the lesser knowns, but it's a really very moody. I enjoyed a lot.
I might go
Um,
watch that tonight. Even I'm always
yeah,
looking for Hammer recommendations because there's too few people talk about them today.
yeah, I know. Yeah, it's a shame. Yeah, that's the one that I think I always come back to it. Maybe Plague of the Zombies, another one I like a lot, but actually I don't know. Is it Hammer? The I don't know. Yeah.
I don't think
Okay.
I could
No,
correct you
Hammer.
on that. You know more about it than I do.
Yeah. No. Yeah, I'm thinking about which one? Quatermass and the Pit. I don't know if it's from Hammer, but I love that movie a lot. Quatermass and the Pit.
What's a mess?
Quatermass and the Pit. Is it Hammer? Yeah, no, it's not from Hammer. Looks like it's not from Hammer. Anyway, it's a fantastic movie, so I definitely recommend it.
I will happily take any and
Yeah,
all of these recommendations.
yeah. Actually, yes, it is from Hammer. So there you go. My favorite Hammer film is Quatermass and the Pit. There you go.
That and the reptile, I will be I
And the
will be adding.
Reptile. There you go. Yes.
Very good.
Mm.
Let's see here. Some of my questions, it seems like you've actually answered in the middle of other questions and other things you were talking about. So that is something that I'm happy to say we're handling efficiently. But otherwise, I think I might as well ask because a lot of people had this question in the comment section. Uh, how can fans of Scratches who can't really buy the game or support you anymore, or who can't actually purchase the game on Steam, of course, how can they support you and your work?
Uh, well, I don't know. Wishlist Asylum now. I'm sorry that Scratches. I mean, I tried that a while ago. I made a promise I would look into it. Then uh, we got in touch with Stephen Kick from Night Dive, who tried to purchase the rights. That didn't pan out, unfortunately. And there's not a lot I can do in that regard. Something that I might tackle, which is it's not a remaster per se, but I might try to port the engine to ScanBM. I love the project ScanBM to play all the adventures, so that's on the plate. As for buying Scratches, no, you can't. It is officially abandonware. If in fact, if it was up to me, it would be in public domain. So by all means, go to whatever, an abandonware site or archive.org download the game by any means you can. I'd rather see more people playing the game than making money out of it. So
Very
you
noble
may
of you.
wish it. Yeah, I mean, it had its run. That's it. I mean, so maybe something, maybe another way. I was fancying to write the book, like turning it into a book, but I don't know. I don't feel like writing a book. Looking at your illustrations in your video, which I enjoyed a lot, maybe I don't know, a graphic novel could be one way to keep the Scratches spirit alive. Not a book per se, but something, a different format to re-experience the story. Anyway, that, I mean, for me, again, it had its run, so play it by any means you can. I don't care. And as for supporting Senscape, go on Wishlist Asylum and pray it launches soon.
Well, I certainly won't try to squeeze you for a release date today because, like I said, I'm well aware that you are very busy in this project. So we will. I am the last person that you need to answer to right now because I'm sure many people have been waiting on this game for longer than I have. I truthfully only found out about Senscape in your games as recently as 3 years ago, and people have been waiting for much longer.
Yeah, I know it's been a long time, and I'm sorry for that, but
Fine wine takes time. You got nothing to apologize for.
no, I mean, definitely not making such a large game again. We need to keep it more more focused. It's hopefully going to be another, experience that at least it will stick with you for a long time to come. I'm happy with how it's coming along. So, well, we will see. I'm expecting to have feedback in the coming days.
All right. I'll throw on a little tiny question here, real quick. The
Uh-huh.
actual documents in the game, all the letters written back and forth from characters, and even James
Yeah.
Blackwood's journal that I said that I fell in love with. It's basically a mini short horror story in and of itself. Did you write all of these documents yourself?
Yeah. Yes, I
You
did.
do a very good job of it.
Thank you. Okay.
I especially the first time I played the game, I caught on to a couple of like trademarked Lovecraft words. Like I'm pretty sure I saw a couple spasmodicallys in there and things like that. That I thought that is totally something that Lovecraft would say when he was writing.
Yeah. I mean, definitely was trying to emulate him to some extent, at least the style. Um, so yeah. I guess I've always wanted to be a writer, at least write for a living. But it's easier said than done. I mean, games got to me first,
Games got to
which
you
I
first.
don't regret at all. I love the medium and I love playing games. But yeah, I guess that's my writer side.
Right.
Anyway,
Well, it's very interesting to me because a lot of horror games that I've played, especially ones with developers who I'm assuming your native language. Are you native to English or do you typically speak
no, no,
Spanish?
no, no, no. It's my second language.
Second language, even for English as
Yeah.
your second language. I don't know how you went about transcribing and translating everything for the different releases of the game, but you did an excellent job with the way that everything came through because I mean, even little documents in the game that other developers might have seen as like throwaway items, like the Michael's incomplete page of the typewriter that he does at the end of day two, that was all
Yeah.
very convincing prose that was quite pleasantly surprising how real it felt.
I like putting attention to details, and I like to reward when players invest attention too. So I want to make it feel like their patience and exploration, is rewarded. So yes, that's the whole point. Nothing has to be an afterthought. Everything that happens in the game in one way or another has to be a building block, like a brick on top of another, towards the common goal, which is the ending, the conclusion. So that's something that was a conscious design decision. I want to reward you for, again, like, your efforts, so to speak.
That's a very good philosophy of game design, I will say, and that's coming from me having not developed a single game ever. But I greatly admire and appreciate all those little details because they truly enhance the game world.
I agree. They do. They do. Yes. Yes.
Well, you've gone ahead and killed about 3 of my questions by answering them on your
Wow.
own, so so good work with
Okay.
that.
Cool.
So one last thing that I think I'll ask, since it's
Yeah.
more or less on theme as you are a horror game developer, is
Yeah.
do you have a favorite horror game that you've really come to admire, or a game that might have set you on a trajectory to inspire other ones you've done?
Uh, yes, I mentioned this one a lot, and it's also an obscure one. Sorry, it's called
Ooh.
The Dark Eye, and it
Oh
was
man.
yeah, yeah. You should give it a go. I mean, do a. It's not well known, so I believe it should be more widespread. It also abandonware, so you have to, go through, some
Jump through a
dark
couple of
corners
hoops,
of the
yeah.
internet to get it. But that's again a really well designed experience. I wouldn't call it a game, but rather a multimedia experience, all based on tales from Edgar Allan Poe with narration by William Burroughs. It's a fantastic. Oh, and it's all done with stop motion. Like really creepy looking characters made with plastiline, I think. Or
Wow.
yeah.
I
Anyway, yes, it's superb, superb.
I am astonished that you said The Dark Eye. I have actually not played it, but friends of mine, like close friends of mine in real life, have been asking me to play that just on my own
Yeah,
time
go
for
do it.
almost a year now. I
Do it. Do it.
I very much want to, and I'm very pleased that you did not give a very basic, like common answer. More obscure the
Yeah.
better.
No, I mean, I should probably mention some runner-ups, games that also even inspired scratches in some way. Darkseid, which I agree didn't age well. It's really bad puzzle design, but amazing atmosphere. Alone in the Dark also. And Darkfall, of course, it's another game you might enjoy, a sort of precursor of Scratches, you could say,
Right.
developed by Jonathan Bogues. So, yes.
I've had some brushes with Dark Fall, but I've never actually played any of them to completion. They're just
Mm,
one of the many games that's on my list of things I hope to play on a rainy day.
yeah. Fun games, really well done games.
Very good. Well,
Yeah,
you have exhausted my questions. Thank you so
amazing.
much again for this opportunity. It's the first time that I've ever thoroughly enjoyed a game and then had the opportunity and the privilege to sit down and chat with the developer of it.
No, please, thank you. I really enjoy the video, the interview, and like I said, it's been a while since I gave an interview like this. So maybe it's kind of, the beginning of a new era with the whole release of Asylum. So thanks for the opportunity to talk again about scratches and well the other projects. Looking forward to the second video.
Alrighty then. I hope to have it out before the end of the month in a perfect world. But
That's excellent.
otherwise, thank you again so much, Mr. Cortez.
My pleasure. Thank you so much again. Speak to you soon and see you soon.
Alrighty, take care now.
Bye bye. Cheers.